So I'm John Williams. I'm Oregon State University Associate Professor in the Department of Rangeland Resources, and I'm working in Wallowa County as the OSU Extension Agent up there. I've been working with a group of researchers, as you see on the wolf-cattle interaction research. The issue is that we find dead cows, we find live cows. This was a cow that was actually found that was alive, had to be euthanized. This is a cow that was killed about 2 weeks before calving season. Our study design is basically 3 ranches or 4 ranches over in Idaho where there's lots of wolves, and 3 to 4 ranches. We've gone to 4 ranches in the last 2 years in Oregon where there was beginning no wolves, and now we have low density of wolves, but none of the research facilities or ranches have had wolves at the present time. We're monitoring cattle movement site preference, wolf movement site preference, wolf activity, and wolf-cattle interactions. To do that, we're working on these collars that we put on cattle and similar collars that we put on wolves. This is a type of data that we get off of our cows. Every 5 minutes that collar goes off, goes up to the satellite, finds out where the cow is, puts it on an SD card and shuts down, waits 5 minutes, and does it again for up to 9 months. Wolf depredations are also included in the research to find out where those depredations are occurring. This is on one of the research ranches. In fact, the one wolf that we've had very good data off of was actually captured in this area where all those depredations are occurring, and that's the rancher's calving pasture. This is the type of data we get off of the wolf. We have the wolf with a collar that's going off once every 15 minutes. We weren't sure we were going to get the collar back near as quickly as we know we're going to get the collars back in the fall. The average daily distance, this is the type of information we're getting from this research, 11.4 miles a day on average, as high as 27 to 30 miles. 27 on our information. ODF&W has one that went 30 miles actually in 6 hours. 210 square miles is the size of the area that this wolf had went when he was had his collar on. Only about 3.1% of those were within of the time of these dots were within 500 meters of a house. So the discussion of, so do I bring my livestock in close to the house? Does that protect them? We didn't find that to be the case with the data that we've received. We saw a maximum movement of over 6 miles in 1 hour. In 2 hours, it was over 8 miles. We had 10 collars on each ranch that were put on cows. We were in hopes that those collars would interact with the wolf that had the collar on it every now and then. We put 500 meters since there's a 5-minute and a 15-minute interval. And so we looked at that at 500 meters. That'd be an interaction. It was actually 783. We moved that down to 100 meters, which is a football field and an end zone. We had 53 times. 52 of those were at night. So when you start looking at non-lethal issues and you start looking at being able to shoot them or to find them, the reality is we didn't find action occurring very often, particularly when they were getting into the cattle. It wasn't happening during the daytime. This is a graph on showing how far you are versus how many dots there are on the map. Simply pretty much a straight line indicating that we're not seeing an effect from occupied houses in our study area. We're also looking at distribution of livestock. If you look at the lower right-hand corner of that, in 2008, there's no dots down there. And there was moderate wolf densities. In 2009, there was actually 28 wolves that were on that site. And the wolves moved back down into the corner where they were trying to go home. It was downhill. 2009, after they took 15 of those wolves out, they were not back down in that area. 2010, the wolf population was back up, and we see them moving back down. It's the type of data that we're getting preliminary. Another data that shows how far do they move on an hourly basis. As soon as it gets night, they move up. As it turns daylight, they tend to settle down and not move near as much. So what have we learned? Wolves can frequently interact with livestock, mostly at night. Wolves alter livestock behavior, both spatially and temporally. Wolves change in their temperament Wolves increase the cost of livestock rearing, particularly on extensive rangelands. There's no easy fixes. With different ranching styles, you can have different protection, such as being in close where you could put flattery up versus out on the range you cannot. And we're looking at it saying the more solid data we have, the more rational decisions we can make. This is the type of cooperation that we've had. So with that, do you want me to, I have a 2-minute video of what we have found?
Sir, I'm sorry, but we're out of time.
That's what we're finding.
Email that to us?
Dr. Williams, thank you very, very much. Appreciate your yeah, we can put that on OLIS if you'd like to share that with us.
What's that?
We can put that on our internal access.
Okay.
If you would like to share that with the committee, we'd be happy to do that.
That'd be great.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. Good morning, Bill. I've got 3 minutes at the max for you.
I won't take that long, Chair Witt. Chair Witt, members of the committee, my name is Bill Hoyt. I am the immediate past president of the Oregon Cattlemen's Association Legislative Chair, and I've been in part of the negotiations for all of the wolf bills that have been successful in passage through this body in the last 2 years, and I've been part of the negotiation for the as far as the wolf is concerned in all the bills that have been come before you over the last 10 years. And I think this is a very reasonable bill. I think we want to keep as many tools in the box as we possibly can. The Oregon Cattlemen's Association very much supports this bill and hopes that you pass it on to the Senate. And with that, I appreciate the fact that we have the opportunity to be here, and I'm sure that there'll be more discussion down the road.
Thank you very, very much for that succinct testimony. Appreciate all three of you committee members. Do we have anything for this panel? I just have one very short question. We have had testimony that this bill could allow poaching. That's a very dirty word in my vocabulary. In your estimation, is there any one of the three of you that think in the slightest manner this bill could allow or encourage poaching?
I don't believe it does. And I've been involved in this thing for years, and I just don't see where that's coming from, to be honest with you.
Chair Witt, this bill directly relates to producers who interact with wolves in their pastures, and I see no direct correlation to the fact that it could be extrapolated to mean that it would allow poachers.
Thank you. Vice Chair Esquivel.
Yeah, just to follow up on that, Mr. Chair, I've never seen a poacher adhere to the law in the first place.
And with that, anything further? Gentlemen, thank you very, very much. Appreciate your testimony and the fact that you've come a considerable distance to be here today.
Thank you. Thank you.
With that, I'd like to call up Justin Martin, and as he's coming forward, is there anyone else today who would like to testify on House Bill 3452? Hands. Not seeing any. Justin, welcome to our committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My name is Justin Martin. I am here today on behalf of Defenders of Wildlife. I will be very, very brief. We are here in opposition to House Bill 3452 as written. I have talked with Mr. Elliker and other folks. So that being said, I would like to say that, 8 years ago I was locked in a conference room, fortunately with a cooler of beer and a lot of folks that are here with me today, and we were able to sit down and work on compromise language, both with the management plan and language. I was also very proud to be a part in 2011 with this legislature passing a bill that allowed for compensation to livestock owners when the Defenders of Wildlife Trust was coming to an end. It's always nice to see your photo in the Capitol Press alongside Bill Hoyt, Representative Smith, Katie Fast, and Jim Welsh. So that being said, while we do not support this bill in the current form, we do know that it's going to be worked in a compromised fashion after it leaves this committee, and we will be at that table, and as always, we will be willing to work with all the stakeholders. So thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for this opportunity, and we look forward to that process.
Justin, thank you for your testimony, and thank you for your expressed willingness to work on this bill. It's greatly appreciated. Questions or comments? comments for Mr. Martin? I'm not seeing any. Thank you very much. Again, last and final call for House Bill 3452.